Welcome back, Miss Medina. I'm really happy that you did return, and
Yes. Of course I will.
okay, I'm glad that you know that you want the help from me, and that I'm here to help you. Right. And okay, so let me go ahead and did you bring your diary with you?
This is my diary.
Okay.
That you suggested, the feelings,
Okay.
the what ate, what
Okay.
trigger it.
So
Well, not trigger it, but what my feelings at the time.
at the time.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna look at the first day. Okay, seems good. I mean, there's no problems. Okay, but I see that you had. Okay, I see this. There's the that you usually skip breakfast.
Yes.
Is there a reason why you skip your? Or what time do you usually have your meals during
Usually,
the time of a day?
okay.
During the day.
Usually, breakfast is the one that I keep a little bit more consistent. Usually, it depends on my mood. Uh, I eat like in the morning at, let's say, at 9,
Uh huh.
or sometimes at 10. Depends on what time
9
I wake up.
or 10. And what time do you go to sleep? Because I did notice you say it depends. So what time do you usually go to sleep?
Depends. Like sometimes I go to sleep at 1,
1 in the
2
morning?
a.m., 3
2
a.m.
And what is the reason that you go asleep at those? Do you have insomnia? Do you cannot go to sleep? Or what is the...
Sometimes I think, I guess, about stuff, about,
Okay.
problems,
Okay.
family wise or work wise related,
Okay.
student related or something like that. And I, I can't go to sleep.
And have you noticed does it take a toll on you the next day that you go to sleep
Yeah,
at this time?
I wake up with a headache, or,
Okay.
tired.
Really
And
tired.
yes.
Okay. So
And really hungry for that matter.
really hungry.
Yes.
Okay.
Really hungry for that matter.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
do see that that there's sometimes that you eat at 9, 10, and even 11. I see
Yes.
that you do have meals at 11 o'clock,
Hmm.
and then after that, after your meal at 11 o'clock, what is your next meal? What is the time that you
Like
do
I
eat?
mentioned, depends on what time I wake up. Usually I wake up around 7 to 8 p.m. And after, as soon as I wake up, I start eating, do my breakfast and eat.
Okay.
Okay, sometimes I do skip a meal, but only drink a coffee, but I eat like around 10 or 2, 10 or 11.
And how does, like, let's see, when you skip a meal
Mm-hmm.
afterwards when you eat, how do you feel?
Really hungry, and I
Really hungry.
overeat. Yes.
And our see those are some of the reasons that's why we have to be consistent with our diet, because if we're not consistent, what happens to us is that our brain, okay, so we're hungry at the time, and then we skip a meal. By the time you realize, what happens is, like, okay, your mind is telling you, oh, I need to eat. But if you don't eat, what happens is, like, okay, I'm not gonna eat. You're depressed. uh, you have, your feelings. You just feel like, okay, I'm not gonna eat at this time, because probably later on, or because you're doing something. I'm not sure if was the reason that you did mention that sometimes you're too busy that you do skip meals.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to find time to eat your meals. At least, grab an apple with you, or take an orange or something like that. A little snack, so
I've
you
been
can snack
I've been
on.
eating like a lot of sweets lately, and a
Okay.
lot of junk food. Like,
A lot of junk
yes,
food.
because
Okay.
I don't have time sometimes to cook a meal, a good meal, so I just grab whatever, and then, while sometimes I even don't have lunch, and I just go and order whatever. Or somebody orders a pizza, then we eat pizza. Somebody orders something, so we eat that, and it's kind of like a daily thing most of the time.
I'm gonna go ahead and give you
Or they give you
menu.
now free pizza as a
Okay,
word.
so we see those things. It's so see the misconception about diet. When people think about diet, they think, okay, I cannot eat that, or because I have diabetes, I'm not gonna eat a piece of cake. As long as you eat in moderation,
Mm-hmm.
it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
Okay, let's say if you have a small piece of cake, that's okay. You can eat that small piece of cake.
But my bad thing is I ate the whole thing.
Okay. So then, yeah, so that is a problem that we're trying to target, you know. So at those times that you want to eat a little piece,
Hmm.
how does that feel? Like, do you feel, what is your mood? So I see here. Let me show you an example that I see in
Hmm.
your in your in your food diary.
Hmm.
I see here that you were sad, and it says you were with family.
Hmm.
Okay, so what was the triggers, or what happened that it caused that?
An argument.
An argument.
Yes, with my family member, one of my sisters. She's been kind of difficult, and and she's doing what she wants to do, and she's not listening, and it sort of brings a problem to my life. She fights with me. She fights with the family members. We ask her, give her advice not to do specific things, but she doesn't listen. Stuff like that.
You know, the thing about the family, it's a very important subject, right?
Hmm.
And I see that it matters a lot to you, your
Yes.
family, right? But at the same time, it's causing you to overeat, right?
Hmm.
So how can we solve those problems? You know, the thing that I see here, say that you say you were feeling sad and you started eating, right? So what can you do that, that you do the opposite of the feelings that you have, instead of overeating? Do you do any physical activity?
Not really. Sometimes, like when I have a chance, but like I said, I wake up at 7 8 p.m. I mean a.m. in the morning. So and then I'm back like around 8 to 9 p.m.
Hmm.
So it during that period of time, it's very difficult for me to exercise, to go to the gym. Sometimes when I got a chance, I get out early. I go and walk, and try to walk around and do a little jogging or something. But it's like I said, it's very tough to incorporate
Into your schedule,
yes,
your
to my
schedule,
schedule.
right? So perhaps we can look at your schedule, and we can see, when is it, like you say you get up, right? You eat, you make yourself breakfast and things like that. Maybe if you don't have that much time to exercise, maybe you should find at least 15 minutes of your day
Mm-hmm.
to exercise a little bit, because it would help you a lot. Also, take a little baggie, put a sandwich, or make sure that you take a small little snack, instead of going to the vending machine and getting a Snickers or M&Ms or whatever is it that you.
Mostly, yes,
Yeah.
chocolates.
Okay. So, because you're telling me that you like sweets, right?
Yes.
So, instead of eating, going, to the vending machine, it
Mm-hmm.
would be a good idea to bring little snacks, fruits and vegetables to snack on. Do you have a refrigerator at your job
Yes, I
that you
do.
can have, or
I
are
have a
they?
little fridge
Okay.
for in a little microwave as well.
Okay. But the thing about your family, right? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
So, what is it that the things that you can do to change, or not to let it bother you, or for you to let you affect your
I
problem?
don't know.
Be-
Okay, I don't know really because like for me, family is very important, and
okay.
stuff, and if they do something to me, it really hurts me. That's one of my weakest point.
Okay.
Let's say that, that's my family. Problems of my family usually affect me very, very. This is
Okay.
very greatly, I say.
Yes, I understand you on that part. Uh, what the things what we can do? Okay, when you do have an argument with your family,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you can, maybe at that time that you're having the argument, make it say, you know what, I don't want to argue at this time, or you can continue arguing, right? So it just depends which way do you want to take.
Mm-hmm.
Which way do you want to take?
Okay. Well, I try
Do
to.
you want to walk away and come back when you're already cooled down, or you want to stay there or continue arguing with them? So what is the road that you want to take at that point?
I would like to take the good road, right? That
Okay.
walk away and
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 come
come
back.
back when I'm home. But sometimes very difficult because I'm a very, like I said, like I'm very picky with my, my stuff, and gets me, I like, I won't say control, but I
Okay.
like a specific ways.
Okay. And how does that make you feel whenever you break your rules? How does that make you
Very uncomfortable.
very
I
uncomfortable?
gotta say, very uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yes.
And when it makes you feel uncomfortable, okay, what is it that you can do different? That you see that you can do different?
It would be great if I could cope with it, but it's kind of difficult. I try to, right, control, like, okay, I cannot control humans. I cannot control things around me a lot of time because I depend on other people as well.
But the thing here is that you cannot control others, right?
Hmm.
But you can control yourself.
Yes,
Okay, so
I
you can,
can.
maybe you can, because you cannot control other feelings, or what other people are thinking or doing.
Hmm.
All, we have to understand that everybody's different,
Okay.
right? Not
Yes.
because you do something, you're gonna be expecting for another person to do the same thing that you want them to do. What we can do is, like, maybe be more specific on what you want.
Hmm.
Maybe write it down. Tell them, this is the way I want things done. That way they can follow. Because sometimes what happens is that you might tell them, you might tell your co-workers or your family member or your students, you might tell them something, but maybe they understand something else, right?
Hmm.
So maybe it would be a good idea if you can go ahead and write down what you want from them, and make sure they do understand what you want from them. And if you have to rephrase again what you said, so they can understand, so you won't have those feelings anymore. Okay.
That's a good
so
approach.
so I'm glad that, and so how is it that you're gonna try to find a way for individual, or not to be too picky, or for individuals to understand you, what you want from them? What is it, and something that you want to do?
Well, probably, like you said, maybe write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Try to let them know what specifics I want. That
There
seems
you
like a
go.
good idea. Um, start little by little, I guess.
Yeah, that would be a very good approach. It would help you a lot, because
Hmm.
it would help you to cope with your feelings,
Hmm.
right? How are you feeling at the moment?
Hmm.
And you can control it. Either you can be very angry because uh, it didn't happen the way you want it, or you can just, okay, I need to calm down and say, okay, maybe next time I'm not gonna feel like that. Maybe you can set rules for yourself,
Yes, that
right?
seems like a
And
good idea.
think and say, okay, maybe we should do this, instead of this. I can be angry, or I can, change the scenario. Let me give you a little story about, that I want to share with you, so you can understand how others might be thinking at that moment,
Okay.
right? So let me give you an example, little story that I want to share with you. I was at the line, at the store buying some groceries. So the cashier was there, and I said, hi, how are you doing? She didn't even answer me back, right? So either and when she gave me my change back, she just throw it to me, right? The cashier.
Hmm. That's right.
So so I either could go this way or this way. I could have got mad at her and say, why are you doing that to me? Or, what is going on with you? Why did you do this to me? What do I look, or start screaming at her and being upset? Or I can say, poor lady, maybe she's having trouble. Maybe she doesn't feel right, because we don't know really what others are thinking.
Yeah.
So for me, I would choose the other road. I would be like, okay, maybe she's having a hard time. Maybe I would smile at her so she can feel, that, maybe she's being cared for, or maybe she'll respond to me with another attitude. So I can make it worse, or I can make it a little bit better. So it's a story that I learned, right? So there's always approaches that you can take, and you the one to decide which approach you want to take.
Okay.
Okay. So, so now that we talk about this, how are you feeling? Do you have any questions for me? Or how is it that for you, your changes, how important are there for you from 1 to 10?
Changes of what?
Change that you want to make changes in your life. How important are they to make changes? Because you say that sometimes you have uncontrolled eating, that you're overweight, you feel sad because you're overweight, you don't want to gain more weight than than what you say that you are, right?
Yeah.
So how important are those changes to you? Control your feelings,
I
take
would say
different
an 8.
That's good. And what made you pick an 8?
Because I mean, on the scale from 1 to 10, I mean, I will say
1
8.
being, I'm not gonna change,
Yeah.
or 10 being, I feel like changing. It's a good approach that you're telling me. You chose 8, and the reason why you chose 8, can I ask you why?
Yes, it's because like for me, 8 is closer to 10.
Okay.
But it might lead me to room to get there.
Okay.
So
Yes.
That's why.
And there's gonna be times where you might, you might see yourself, okay, oh my God, I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm doing it. The important thing is for you to acknowledge and to correct it. That's what I want to approach with you.
Okay.
I want you to, even if you made a mistake, we're humans, right?
Yes.
We do make mistakes. The important thing is to correct those actions.
What happens with me is that I'm so, when I don't lose control, that's when I start getting bad, because like I have a control and a regiment, and I'm doing it, but when I break it, I feel really bad, and that's when I start overeating or overdoing something. For me, it's more like overeating, and and I feel really bad because I didn't do this, and like, oh man, I'm eating this, I'm doing this, and then I end up eating more of that because of that, because of that guilty feeling.
Of the guilty feeling.
Yes.
And what do you think you can do about it now that I have
Well, now that you have given me those information that is very valuable for me, is that what I look like, what might work for me is that like, okay, I break it today, but tomorrow I get back to it. I start doing better, giving myself more chance to breathe, more room for mistakes, something like that is what I gather.
Okay. So I'm glad you understand, So we're going to talk a little bit, about your BMI.
Okay.
Right? Your body mass index, right? So we are looking at here, based on your BMI,